chase it. Money's moving to me. I'm a millionaire. Money better cases. I ain't gotta chase it.
Hey, what's going on, beautiful people? Happy Monday to you all. I hope that you've had an amazing day thus far. If not, it's about to get that much better. If you are watching me live, go ahead and let me know where you are watching from. Rep your city, rep your country. Let me know where in the virtual building you are watching me from on tonight, darling, or this morning or this evening, depending on where you are in the world and when you are watching this. Listen, I am not going to be before you long, but I have a question for you, honey, and I hope that you can answer it accurately. But before I even get into that, let me go ahead and get started with my intro as I always do. My name is Sharita Leon. I went from being a homeless disabled single mom to two-time number one best-selling author with books that were on the bestsellers list for over 2 years straight. I'm also a life relationship and business coach and internet marketing strategist, entrepreneur, international speaker, and the protege of the legendary Les Brown, a forex trader and investor. And I empower my tribe to live their God-given purpose while creating wealth and have healthy relationships. I'm also a believer, and my faith is exuded in all that I do. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Now, as you see in the title of this video, I'm asking a question. The seasons are changing. We're quickly seeing how the leaves are starting to show themselves. We're seeing how the temperature is dropping if you are in states other than like Florida or like maybe Nevada. Even Nevada's getting a little bit cooler. The times are changing. The seasons are changing. I mean, it's getting darker earlier, right? We just had an hour back. Thank God for that, because Lord knows I needed it, right? We are seeing how everything around us is changing. Hey, Queen Vanessa. And so the question now becomes, are we changing? And so often our environments can change. The world literally shows us that we have to change. God created the seasons for it to change, yet and still somehow many of us remain the same. Many of us stick to our routine. Many of us still have the same knowledge that we acquired back when we were in school. Many of us have not grown, not just from the months before, the years before, but some of us are not even choosing to grow on a day-to-day basis. And we have to really look at where we are and have that self-evaluation. You know, sometimes when you have self-evaluation, it's not always a pretty thing if you're honest with yourself. Because when you're honest with yourself and you're going through that checklist of things that you should be doing or things that you've said you were going to do and you didn't, and you're like, I could probably do better. Just like at the job, right? I remember back when I used to live back, I felt like I lived at a job. Back in the day when I used to have a job, I remember when it was time for the new year to come or time to possibly be promoted, they had an evaluation list to look at to see, well, what has this person been doing since they've gotten here? Have they grown the company, right? Well, if we could do that in the corporate world to ensure that we advance professionally, how are we not doing that with ourselves? How are we not taking the time to really see, have I changed in any area? Be it good, bad, or indifferent. Am I growing? Am I evolving? Or am I just content with where I am? I was having a conversation with someone this evening, and they were sharing with me how a lot of things are going to change with them. And they were saying it in a way where it was both a self-reflection and an excitement, but also a caution, as in watch what happens, because things are about to totally change. You're either going to catch on or you're going to get left behind. And whenever you have that conversation with someone, you know they're serious about their life, right? You know they're serious because whether you come with me or not, it's going to get done. Hello, somebody, right? And so you have to make sure that in you being around certain people, they're causing you to become greater, right? That's a quick little tidbit. But I'm speaking to this person and they're sharing with me how a lot of things are about to change. And they were sharing some of their experiences with me. And little did they know that many of the experiences and many of the motivations that they have to change, to evolve, are many of the things that I have been feeling. How I have been opened, if you will, to certain ideas that I wouldn't have been open to before. How I have been realizing how there are just certain things that I need to elevate and change in order for me to be the person that I see myself in my mind's eye and in my heart. Thank you, Sir Lock. I appreciate you. Yes, your girl is shrinking. Okay. That's part of the change. Hey, Nana, good to see you. And so, with that, when you realize within yourself that time is causing you to change, either you're going to get out of certain things, or either certain things are going to cause you to get out. What do I mean by that? If you know the story of Jonah in the Bible, right? Well, with Jonah, literally, he had an assignment. He had an assignment in the Bible, but he didn't want to do the assignment. Okay. So because he didn't want to do the assignment, he went kind of started with kind of lackadaisical and said, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm going to leave. Right. So while he's leaving, he's on the boat and like everything around him is like causing havoc. And people are trying to figure out what is it? Why is it now that we were just doing fine and now everything's going left? Well, the reason things are going left is because Jonah went opposite of where he was supposed to be assigned and things were going haywire. He had an opportunity to grow regardless of what he felt was right or wrong, regardless of if he felt that people were going to listen to the message or not. His assignment from God was to go and do as he was told. But because he didn't choose to listen, he literally had to allow the environment to cause him to change. And that's where a lot of people are, where our environments have to cause us to change. And for some, it might be a bit more abrupt than others because a lot of us are kind of hard-headed, we're stubborn. You have to be in a really hard space before you say, hey, okay, that's confirmation for me to leave. When you're able to discern and you're able to be more mature in hearing God's voice, more mature in knowing what season you're in, personally, you don't have to wait for negative things to happen in order for you to realize, okay, it's time for me to go. Now, most people will probably hear this and say, well, it's easy. And of course I'm changing. Of course I'm growing, right? I mean, I'm aging for some people and they see that as a change, but a physical change in you aging mentally, chronologically, does not necessarily mean that you're actually psychologically changing and growing. You're naturally going to age as long as you have breath, right? But what value, what wisdom is taking place as you grow and elevate, or as you grow and you should be elevating? The thing is, most of us don't know when to change. Most of us can't perceive when it's time to change. Most of us don't understand or can discern when we actually are being faced with something new. Because our eyes are blocked. We have the scales in our eyes. This is how the word says, behold, I'm doing a new thing. Can you perceive it? Well, most people would say, well, God, if you're doing a new thing, duh, it must be clear. It's not clear because a lot of times the new thing is not in the lens that we're accustomed to. The new thing is not always comfortable. The new thing may cause you to get into a place where you're isolated for a season. That new thing may cause you to be ridiculed, and it may cause you to be misunderstood because other people haven't caught on yet. And so he has to ask the question. First, he tells you, well, I'm doing this new thing, but will you perceive it? Will you know it? Can you discern that something new is happening? I know personally in my life right now, there's a whole lot of stuff happening, a whole lot of new stuff happening, a whole lot of opportunities for me to become this person that I know I am to become. It's not because I discern it and I know it, it then requires me to do something different. It requires me now to pivot in certain areas. It requires me now to separate myself from certain people and or things. It requires me to separate my thinking from thoughts that no longer serve me or thoughts that were once deemed as truth to now realize it's not. And all of that can be a very, very fragile place to be in. And because it can be very fragile and very vulnerable, a lot of us choose to skip over it or block it. Say, nope, I'm good. I'm okay. No, you go ahead and do that. I'm good right here where I'm at. But in doing so, we rob ourselves from the life that God has given us And I say given us because all things he has already given to us, right? It's not going to happen, it's already happened. But it requires for us to be that different person. So while we can look and see physically the seasons are changing outside, this is also a time for us to look within us to ensure that we're changing our environments. I know for me personally, I need a new environment. I'm like, not only am I bored, but I can literally feel like there's another level for me to go to. And when I get to that place, it's like there's no rest. It's like, oh my gosh, I gotta go and I gotta go now. It's like, nope, I got to go. Whether that be a physical place to go to, or a mental space to go to, or a physical place to go to. I have had to, on this journey that I've been on, and I've lost 80 plus pounds, I've had to put myself in positions to cause me to be consistent in my journey, to cause me to ensure that I took the products I need to take, that caused me to make sure that I worked out, that caused me to eat certain foods. I had to put myself in positions, put myself in accountability circles, put myself in a place where I had a trainer. I had to put myself in places that were uncomfortable to ensure that I would get the results that I wanted, regardless of how I was feeling at the time. And when I feel like, oh, something is off, I got to go right back to that to get me right back into the mental space to go to that next level. The thing about success that a lot of people don't realize that aren't quote unquote successful is that it's a discipline. It's a disciplined lifestyle. It's a disciplined mentality. It all requires discipline. And the moment you're able to start mastering discipline in one area in your life, you will then be able to master discipline in other areas, because discipline is inevitable if you want to win, period. So if you can have the discipline to wake up earlier and work out, you have the discipline to go and show up to work on time. If you have the discipline to exercise emotional intelligence, you could then now have the diligence and discipline to eat properly. See, it all works together. But it comes with first us realizing that we have to make that change. I was speaking to someone earlier today, and they were sharing with me how they're really busy and they're not really where they want to be financially. But yet at the same time, they were not open to being able to receive an opportunity that can help them with creating more financial stability. And so in my mind, I thought to myself, here is someone who actually needs help. Here is someone who needs an opportunity, but then they're too busy to create one or to tap into one. But they don't realize that what they're doing isn't working. Behold, I do a new thing. Will you perceive it? Nope, missed that one. Then I had a conversation. Someone else came and they reached out to me. I reached out to a lot of people, don't? I'm like, yeah, I do. Someone else reached out to me today and they wanted me to help them monetarily. And this is not somebody that I know personally or not, but they wanted me to help them. And see, in their mind's eye, they receive help as, okay, you're going to give me something. You're going to give me money. You're going to give me whatever I'm asking you for. That is you helping me. But the truth is, if you want me to help you, and if the help that you're asking for is financial, I'm going to show you how to be financially independent. Me just giving you the money is not going to help you, especially if I don't know you. And I don't know what your work ethic is. And around this time every year, you have the same situation. No, I'm not going to give you money. What I'm going to give you is a new state of mind to adapt. What I'm going to give you is an opportunity for you to leverage and learn how to create your own income. That's what I'm going to give you. But see, the truth is, most people don't want that. Most people don't want the hand up, right? They want the hand out. I'm not going to give it to you. I'm the wrong person to come to. Because I'm going to show you how to be independent on your own. Does that mean I don't give? Of course I give. But I don't just give blindly to someone just because they want it, right? And so we have to now look at the whole scheme of all that is within us and around us and say, am I changing? And is this change making me better? Because some of us change, but we change not necessarily for the better. You went through a bad breakup, so now your change was, I'm never gonna love again. Oh well, that's not necessarily a good change, right? Because that means you haven't healed. That means you're believing a lie that you'll get hurt again. You're believing a lie that love does not exist for you. That's not a good change. But are we changing for the better? Are we allowing ourselves to be challenged to become greater? Are we questioning the thoughts that we have? Part of being able to change is having the consciousness to question certain things. In that, it allows for you to dig a little deeper, allowing you to see what could be missing. What is it that you're actually holding back? A lot of times we're holding back and holding on to things, not realizing that those very things that we're holding on to are the things that are keeping us from change, from new opportunities. If my hands are full right now with coins and you're trying to give me something, there is no way for me to receive it unless I let go. And that letting go becomes real personal sometimes. Because when we feel like you're holding on to something, you feel like you have ownership of that heartbreak. You have ownership of that person backbiting you. You have ownership of that person that did you wrong. You have ownership of when they tried to come at you last time and it didn't work. You feel like you have ownership of that, and that's when you miss it. Hey, queen. But I have to let that thing go in exchange for what I want. There's a song we used to sing at church all the time. I think it's from Israel New Breed. And it was I'm changing my I'm changing my sorrow. I'm changing something my pain for the joy of the Lord. And the whole song's about them exchanging what they didn't want and receiving and exchanging what God had for them, the equal or better equivalent, right? And so it is with your personal life. Ask yourself, if what I'm holding to is not giving me any true gain, what am I doing? Like, what are we doing here? How are we serving each other? How is it serving me and how am I serving it? If there is nothing here that is actually of benefit, what are we doing? Now, please understand that in no way, shape, or form am I trying to allude to the fact that it's easy to let go. Because honey, that's not the case, okay? It's not always easy. But what it is that it's possible. I was listening to something today because I'm always listening to personal development, right? And he said, I was listening to Jim Rohn, he said that it's easy. He said, I believe that having a better life was easy. And he said, by easy, I mean that it was possible. By easy, it meant that I could actually do it. Not so much easy in that there was no real work ethic required. It was just easy because I knew I could do it. But that easy required me to work hard. That easy required me to change. That easy required me to be around different people. That easy required me to have late nights and early mornings. But it was easy because I chose to believe it was easy because I knew I could do it. Now, in the same fashion that it was easy for him to do, it was also easy for him not to do. In fact, he had more excuses or reasons, as some would say, as to why it wasn't easy to go forward, right? Everything's about a choice in life. Life is about a series of decisions, and it's also about perspective. What perspective are you choosing to have, and are you able to realize what season you currently are in your life? While we all love to hear about it's harvest season, well, the truth is it's not harvest season if you don't have any seeds in the ground. Hello, somebody. It is not harvest season for you if you have no seeds. A farmer can only get excited when it's time for the harvest because he knew when to actually plant the seed. So he planted the seed with expectation that the seasons would change and boom, here is my harvest. But if that farmer knew that he was chilling that whole season when he needed to be planting, there's no way he could expect for his ground to bring more harvest. And so it is with us in our lives. Are you changing? The seasons are clearly changing, but are you changing? Even if that means changing by yourself. Even if that means changing in the midst of pain, discomfort, are you willing to still change? Most of us are just like how we've always been. And you know how people say things like, girl, you're the same. That's not always a compliment. You are just like the way you were in high school. Oh my gosh. That is not always a compliment. If you are exactly the way you were back when you were in high school and you haven't grown and elevated, even if you were someone in high school that was always diligent, are you more diligent than you were back then? You should not be the same type of person you were back then. You should be even better, greater, switching it up, reinvent yourself. Do you realize that there are so many different versions of you? But because we've been taught to be a certain kind of way, we're not always free to show all the different sides of us, especially depending on what kind of background you have, whether it be from a religious background, a societal, economical background based on your family. You can't always show all the other sides of you. That's why when we see certain people in the street and they're very creative and colorful, be it with their hair or they're expressing themselves with their clothing, they've allowed themselves to be free to express that version of themselves. I know for myself, there were many sides of me, even to this day, that I never really give myself the opportunity or the space to just be. Because how would that look? How would that feel? I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to speak back to that person and stand up for myself. Those days are long gone. Long gone. Because I've given myself the freedom to change and to be me. If you think about this, God in the Bible has so many different names to describe different attributes of who he is. So if God has all of these names and I'm made in his image and likeness, how do you think I'm just this one facet person? We're not. But we pick and choose which person we're mainly going to be. And we pick and choose who we're going to be that person around. It's very rare that you have a relationship with someone where you can be all of yourself at all times with that particular person. Depending on who you know and when you know them in your life, they may know, oh, well, she's really quiet. Like if you were to ask some of my high school friends about who Sharita was, and they didn't know me now today, or they would say, oh, well, yeah, she was always really quiet. She really stayed to herself. That was pretty much her. Bring somebody now that comes into my life and then you ask them about who I am. They'll say, well, she's tenacious. She's bold. They'll say that she stands out. She loves to have fun. It's a totally different person than who somebody else may have known me from based on the time frame in which they've met me. And also who I've allowed myself to become and reinvent as my days on this earth grow, right? And so it should be with you. Give yourself the grace and the freedom to change. Hey, Bishop, how are you? Give yourself the grace and the freedom to change and become, and know that who you are in certain seasons may be different. I may be somebody way more, bold in this season, but then next season I may be more in my feminine energy, and I may be one really soft, and I just might be that person in that season. But give yourself your grace to be. You don't have to speak or give the permission from anyone to be. We have all of these limitations only because we've learned them. Only because we've learned them. If you look at a baby or a child or, growing from infancy to being a toddler, you'll see how they're free. They don't know any limitations. They don't know that they shouldn't pick up the penny and put it in their mouth. They put it in their mouth anyway. They don't know that they're not supposed to slap the other kid. They just go for it. They don't know that they shouldn't be eating dirt. They don't know. They do because they're free. There are no restrictions. They think they're Superman, so they'll hop and fly from one bed to the other bunk bed because they're free. The limitations haven't been created until we say, no, don't do that. You're not supposed to say that. No, don't do that. You're not supposed to speak with those kids. They don't know. And this is exactly why the word says, Jesus said, if you want to come to me, you have to be like these little children. Oh God. If you want to come to me, You have to be like these little children. You want the kingdom? You have to be like these kids. Why? Because the kids don't know any limitations. The kids believe whatever I tell them. The kids will go out there and make it happen. The kids will have fun while they're doing it. The kids will explore. The kids will ask questions. They will be free and be able to receive whatever they want because they're children. This is why we must be like children to come into the kingdom of God. And people hear that and just think, oh, I just got to go straight to heaven. And no. You have to have the mentality of the child in that way. They have the freedom to just believe. They have the freedom to receive, flow, and not have any worries. Children don't have any worries. Oh, mom will take care of that. I was watching a live the other day with Courtney Adelaide and her daughter. And her daughter wanted some toy to play. I think it was like an online game. And the game was like $30 almost. And then she says, well, mom, I want this game. It's only $26.99. And she said only. Like, she's like, that's nothing. It's only, I mean, you could get that. You could afford that. It's only $26.99. What's the big deal? Not the fact that she's getting a game all the time, but it's only $26.99. Mom, that's nothing. Okay, can we go ahead and get it? Us, adults, coming to God. Oh, God, if you please, Jesus, come by here, Lord. Oh, don't forget me, God. Oh, come by the hospital, Jesus. Oh, Lord, we need you. Please listen to me, your servant, God. What are we doing? What are we doing? The little girl said, Mom, it's only $26.99. You got that. We could go ahead and play the game. Here we are, grown adults, begging God for stuff that we already have. Begging God for things that he's already given to us. Begging God for things that our authority has already given us. But that means we haven't changed. We haven't become the children that have the mindset to be open to know that we can truly trust and ask and know that it's already ours. Even before we speak, he hears. So I'll leave with y'all this good night. The question once again, the seasons are changing. Are you? As we end this year, what growth has happened thus far from you? Be it physically, emotionally, financially, what has happened? Have you done your year-end review? Corporate does it. You should do it for yourself. What is your year-end review on you? As I look back on certain things that I saw for myself this year, I see where there's a lot of improvement necessary, but I also see where, dang, Sharita, you did that. But I also see the moments that pulled on me, that had me questioning a lot of things. And those are the things that I need to put focus on. Those are the things that need to be evaluated, deep dived into to ensure that I take hold of it. So that way, not only just next year is not affecting me, but even today. Facts, Bishop. And so if you know you're in a place where you know you should be changing, but you're not, do something different. Align yourself with those that are making things happen. What I love about my community is that we have so many gifted people in so many different areas that a bond becomes a real thing for us. And it's beyond just business, but it's like, okay, I can pray with you and you have my back. I could call you for something else concerning other business, and I know that, boom, you'll get it done. But there's also that core group that is willing to challenge one another to become better and not just necessarily be fake or pacifying one another. It's like, nah, sis, you could have done that better, right? Because we understand the power of growth. We also understand the power of unity. We understand the power of getting things done, doing it with excellence. We also understand the beauty of financial literacy. Now more than ever, if y'all don't know, now more than ever is the time to have your financial literacy as a main priority. There's so much going on in the world, so much wealth that's being created in so many different industries that you would be foolish to miss out on what's happening. people hold themselves back. I'm telling you, they hold themselves back, and they miss out on the things that are being given to them. And it's like, come on, we got to do better. We got to do better. Like, how I'm telling people right now, I've been seeing people help people make over $300 every single day, copy and pasting on their phone. And folks just act like they don't see it. Meanwhile, they're struggling. What you doing? Then there are people that I know who have a lot of influence on other people that they need to help, but because they're in their own way, they won't be open to the information to give other people an opportunity to help them. If you say you're called to the masses and you're trying to help the masses and you won't give them something to help both their physical and their financial, you're kind of fraudulent, but that's just me. I don't know. That's just me. Like, come on. We pray and ask God for things that we don't move. How does that work? Like, how do you've been praying, you've been all this time and you still, oh, okay. Listen, I'm a okay you son. I'm like, oh, okay, and keep it moving. I'm not gonna go back and forth. I'm not going to explain. I'm not even gonna ask you any questions. I'm just gonna say, okay. Because I already know. It's like, yeah. And it breaks my heart, y'all. It does, because I really have a passion for people to win. And I under promise and over deliver all the time. Because I give of myself so much sometimes where it could be detrimental. And I'm like, oh, wait, we got to cut that. It's like, wait a minute. No. Because if they wanted it, they would show up. And that's when you have to cross the line and Coach Sharita shows up. Now, if you wanted it, you'd be here. Because if you know that I have the ability to help you get what you want and you don't show up and you still expect something else, you can miss me on that. But if you really want change, like people come to me all the time, how did you lose the weight? I want to lose weight too. I need to lose about 50 pounds. Okay, this is what I did. Okay, they either ghost you or say, I'm going to get back to you. Or I got to see if I could do this. You've been eating all kinds of crazy food your whole entire life. And now you want to go ask your doctor about the natural products. Girl, bye. You just had McDonald's. But you want to see if this detox tea is okay to take because you have high blood pressure. Let me get off of here. Honey, let me get off of here before I get a little too rough for some folks. Listen, I'm just not the one for excuses. I'm just not. I want to lose the weight. I got to lose the stomach. Okay, do this. Ghost town. Listen, even if you don't take my products, do something. Do something. But don't be out here talking all this stuff and it's time for you to go and it's like, oh, you can't. All the excuses. I done told you to have a whole kit for $50. I done told you how you could do. I don't even told you could join, get 3 friends to actually take a challenge with you and make a guaranteed $375. Folks are like, well, I don't know. Somebody told me, I'm gonna get off of here. I'm about to turn this into a whole rant. I told you the different sides. Listen, I'm so honest. I was gonna say now. It's not that I've always been honest, but I kept a lot to myself. Growing up, I was always very quiet. So I would see things, I would just keep it to myself. I wouldn't say anything. And now I'm a lot more boisterous. And I'm gonna call you out on your stuff, right? But someone was coming to me for help. And they were like, I really want to, make more money. I really need to lose weight. I really need to cleanse my body, all of this stuff. I even show them how to do it without money. And they're like, well, you know what? I've been scammed before. What? Honey, we're not even the same vibrational frequency. This conversation is done. Like, what? You coming to me with that? We're not the same. All right, I'm gonna get off of here. But no, seriously, it's like, come on, let's change. And that's what I'm talking about. People hold on to old stuff. And this is why Mr. Browning says that most people don't have a future. They don't have a future because they're living in their past. Praise God, Bishop. Thank you. They don't have a future because they're living in their past. She's going to tell me about a time she got scammed. What does that have to do with today? learn from what that experience was, and seize the opportunity now. Measure it to see, is it the same? No, it's not. So why are you still talking to me about something that happened to you back then when you're coming to me for help? I didn't come to you. I don't know you. You came to me. But you're still living in the past. You still don't have enough money, and you still need a detox. Come on, y'all. We gotta change. A change gonna come the moment you decide to change. And with that being said, if you're ready to change, you're ready to lose weight, you're ready to get your money together, you're ready to copy and paste and make your phone make you some money, you need to get in my inbox so I can help you do that, okay? As you see, look at the picture of the girl on this banner and look at me now. I'm not just talking to you about stuff that I've read or think. I'm talking to you about what I've lived and what I currently live. When it talks about change and transformation, I'm that girl that can help you get there, okay? I'm the queen, rather, that can help you get there. So if you're ready, for real, not, I don't know. No, if you're ready, as in right now, to take a change and take a stand, you need to get in my inbox. If you're watching from YouTube, email SharitaLeon@gmail.com, and I will be able to assist you. Until next time, y'all, only believe until the end and go get your life. Be blessed, y'all.
I'm a millionaire, money better cases.